This is a turn signal unit for a 65 Buick Riviera. Pulled this out of the passenger side, and having issues getting a new lamp in here because the pins at the bottom are kind of seized up. They're not slight movement, but not enough. We need those pins to move freely and create tension on the lamp itself, and that typically happens because the cables, these wires here, the jackets, get seized or atrophy inside this rubber jacket. So we're going to take this thing apart and clean it all up, and then we will work to get this new LED lamp in here. Like these because they're very bright, and once installed, I think they tend to be, I believe they're quite reliable. So we'll start cleaning it up and be back in a minute. Here's the unit disassembled. We've got the boot off, cleaned it up a little bit. What we're going to do is to take this boot and these orifices and just open them up a little bit using the tang of a file here. Take out just an ever so slight amount of material to allow these cables, these leads, to move more freely and be affected by the springs that are down in there on the socket itself. The chrome here is pretty decent. It's going to be just fine for the project we're working on. This is a nice driver quality car. It is not a show level restoration we're doing, but we want this to be very functional, clean, tight, bright, and yeah, we'll be back here in a moment putting it on the car. So that with these these new LEDs, the base of these things, the shoulder, the little circuit board that sticks out over top of the base, is sometimes too broad, and it interferes with the socket fit. So, simple solution. Just used Granddad's old bench grinder here. Start it up, turn it off, and then let the wheel coast, and then take off the appropriate amount of material just to reshape it. Gotta be careful you don't touch these LEDs, or else you're gonna be buying a new one. But now that thing fits nicely in there. Previously it was too much. There was too much interference and couldn't get the bulb to seat. This is true with almost any of them that I've been using in these corner markers. Okay, we got it back in the socket here, and got to ground the chassis or the frame. So here we've got power, and looking pretty good. So I'm gonna get the boot reinstalled, and then we will put the rest of the housing on it. And we'll take one more last look at it on the bench before we're done. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I definitely had to take my time with the boot here. Mounted this small file in a vise, and then ran the boot down the file a few times just to open up enough material, or remove enough, just a slight amount of material, to allow these wires to go back in and to move freely. I also used a little bit of the heat from the heat gun to make this boot more pliable, and then have my connections on here now, and I'm pretty happy with how this is going to work. So you can see we've got there's the running light, and then there's the turn signal illumination. Funny stuff. All right, here we are, finished up with it on the bench. Got the LED bulb in there, polished the lenses for the turn signal on the buffing wheel, and I think that's going to be good for today. We get this thing reinstalled on the front of the 65. All right, we got those parking lights installed with the bright amber LEDs, and turn signal's working, and the running lights or parking lights are working just fine. I may be biased, but the front end on this 65 Riv is perhaps one of the most sinister looking front ends in automotive history. Bold claim, but it looks pretty sinister to me. Thanks.